The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has taken a significant turn with the recent Russian offensive in the Kursk region. This development has not only intensified the military engagements on the ground, but also reshaped the geopolitical dynamics surrounding the conflict. In early March 2025, Russian special forces executed a surprise infiltration into the Kursk region, utilizing a gas pipeline to penetrate Ukrainian defenses. This strategic maneuver allowed Russian troops to traverse approximately 15 kilometers within the pipeline, culminating in an assault near the town of Sudzha. While Ukrainian forces detected and countered the incursion, the boldness of the tactic underscores Russia's determination to reclaim territories ahead of potential ceasefire negotiations. The Kremlin's objectives in the Kursk region are clear: to regain full control and strengthen its position in forthcoming diplomatic discussions. Reports indicate that Russian forces have captured 3 settlements near Sudzha, signaling a concerted effort to encircle Ukrainian units. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev stated that the encirclement of Ukrainian troops in Kursk is nearing completion, highlighting the precarious situation for Kyiv's forces. The Ukrainian military, on the other hand, faces mounting challenges. The suspension of U.S. military aid and intelligence sharing has significantly impacted Ukraine's defensive capabilities. This cessation of support follows a contentious meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, during which disagreements over military assistance led to a diplomatic rift. The absence of U.S. support has forced Ukrainian forces to adapt their strategies. Reliance on drones and other technological assets has increased, but the potential loss of access to Elon Musk's Starlink satellite network poses further complications. Starlink has been instrumental in maintaining communications and coordination among Ukrainian units, and any disruption could hinder operational effectiveness. The broader international community watches with concern as the conflict escalates. European leaders fear that Ukraine's diminishing territorial control, coupled with the U.S. policy shift, could embolden Russia and destabilize the region further. The European Union remains steadfast in its commitment to phase out Russian gas, emphasizing the need for energy independence and increased defense spending to counter potential threats. Poland, a key NATO member and staunch supporter of Ukraine, has been funding Ukraine's access to the Starlink network. However, concerns over the reliability of this service have prompted Warsaw to explore alternative solutions to ensure uninterrupted communication support for Ukrainian forces. The tactical approaches employed by Russian forces in the Kursk offensive bear similarities to strategies previously observed in the Donbas region. By focusing on severing supply lines and isolating Ukrainian units, Russia aims to weaken Kyiv's defensive posture and compel concessions in future negotiations. The rapid advancements and territorial gains in Kursk have placed approximately 10,000 Ukrainian troops at risk of encirclement, prompting Ukrainian military leadership to consider strategic withdrawals to preserve their forces. The historical context of the Kursk offensive traces back to August 2024, when Ukrainian forces launched an incursion into the region, capturing a sliver of Russian territory. This move was intended to gain leverage in negotiations and divert Russian military resources. However, the subsequent Russian counteroffensive has not only reclaimed lost ground, but also exposed the vulnerabilities in Ukraine's strategic calculus. The battles for the Olgovsky Forest exemplify the intense clashes characterizing the Kursk offensive. Between September and November 2024, Russian and Ukrainian forces engaged in fierce combat in this area, with Russian troops eventually claiming to have encircled approximately 350 Ukrainian soldiers. This engagement underscores the high stakes and brutal nature of the conflict in the region. As the situation in Kursk evolves, the humanitarian implications cannot be overlooked. The intensification of hostilities has led to civilian casualties and displacement, exacerbating an already dire humanitarian crisis. International organizations face challenges in delivering aid to affected populations, and the ongoing conflict hampers relief efforts. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict face significant hurdles. The strained relationship between Ukraine and the United States complicates the prospects for a unified Western response. Additionally, Russia's aggressive posture and territorial ambitions raise questions about the feasibility of achieving a negotiated settlement in the near term. The upcoming talks in Saudi Arabia offer a glimmer of hope for de-escalation. These discussions aim to explore potential pathways to peace and address the underlying issues fueling the conflict. However, the success of these negotiations hinges on the willingness of both parties to make concessions and the ability of international mediators to facilitate constructive dialogue. In conclusion, the Russian offensive in the Kursk region represents a pivotal moment in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The strategic maneuvers, shifting alliances, and geopolitical ramifications underscore the complexity of the situation. As the international community grapples with the escalating crisis, the imperative for a comprehensive and sustainable resolution becomes ever more pressing.